Keep God first. I see evil, I evil when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
Go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Son of God, no, I am not son of man. Blessings keep falling, the fingers keep coming in. I got you, but just know I'm texting like Uncle Sam. Left to the bank, you know that I'm coming in. We don't do it for the bands though, we don't do it for the clout. Legacy on the line, so I'm moving in and out. Seen good ones turn top dog, greedy ones get knocked off. I keep looking at the bench like I could never not ball. Coach keep me in the game, Curry deadly with the range. I keep looking in the mirror like, who is he? I'm insane. Who am I? He insane. Guess I am the one to blame. What's done is done, won't change. Time to live up to my name. Real will be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping while I won't fall. No sleeping while I won't it out. I keep God first. I see evil, I evil when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
Go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Told my baby, meet me at the bank. Told my mama, I'ma break the trend. Locked in, I'ma change the weight. Working for my baby's kids. Hard times couldn't make the rent. Working hard couldn't save a cent. Lonely nights, just me and God. Swear to him, always made the ends. Grab a paper, see the news. Hate coming by the tools. Walk a mile in my shoes. Something you could never do. Got my back against the wall. Bet I always pull through. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Sending shots, I block 'em. Superman with the moves. Rock 'em, sock 'em, drop, pop 'em. Play to win, never lose. Run it up, I top 'em. Play for belly too. I hip hop or pop 'em. Anything I could do. The real won't be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a while. No sleeping while I won't fall. No sleeping while I won't it all. I keep God first. I see evil, I evil when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns.
Go, 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 go.
Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off.
I'm trying to touch the States this time. 2021. Gotta show him I can still rap though.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it was the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says the chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma make, keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they grind me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my rain when I'm switching lanes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Now I got a buck for all those rainy days. Ain't have a day off in like 80 days. I got hustles in like 80 ways. Kids if he won't take a lazy day. Wifey on me told me take a break. I keep going to the paper straight. Then it's trips out to Montego Bay. If I take the job, bet I get it done. I said it before, I'm a one-on-one. I just caught some ones, only wearing ones. Fornicate the funds, money made me calm. Diamonds on your neck, bet they on your neck. You want that watch, you better rock it tech. You want that chain, you better cop a vest. You want the check, but can you make it stretch?
On me, you owe me, you should've schemed good. Now I got you alright. Hot girl summer, had to put you on nice. Talking on my ear, alright. She just want the Louis but I got from Off-White, right? Racks under my pillow, now I sleep good. LA onto the choker so she can breathe good. And my little babies get whatever they want. If I say it, I mean it, no front.
I know, I roll, no drip, this a river, I roll,
no drip.
I roll, no drip, this a river, I roll.
I know,
I roll, no drip, this a river, I roll.
No drip,
I roll, no drip, this a river, I roll.
I know.
Det var första gången vi möttes. Våra blickar bara möttes. Kommer du ihåg det igen? Kommer du ihåg igen? Du vill ha icy little fingers. Då du vet det chalas. All in, ingen broms, schackmatt på din vänster hand. Du är så viktig baby. Ja, du allians. Du är försiktig baby. Men du gav mig en chans. Det är 50-50 baby. Men det är balans. Jag växlar upp med dig baby. Ingen annan. Det var fan ingen dans på någon ros innan jag träffade någon som det. Som det baby. Det var fan ingen dans på någon ros innan jag träffade någon som det. Du är mitt liv baby. Aldrig titta på någon annan. Varför du med annan? Kom var med mig baby. Aldrig lita på någon annan. Finns ingen annan, jag vill ha min chokarinna. Mosa och save, ingen sinna. Jag kommer alltid ride with you. 100 gubbe klart jag die for you. Du är så viktig baby. Ja, du allians. Du är
shame me about going to Thailand. You can't shame me about going to Africa or Portugal or Morocco.
Right.
Them days are over. They're over.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of black women don't believe the fat meat is greasy. But I'll tell you what, you'll find out for sure. Yes, I am from North Carolina. I am country. And I embrace all that. So,
I'm gonna use that. Damn, the fat meat is greasy. But you know what? It goes back. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. Greetings, brethren of the Manosphere space. Bringing it to you live from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State. Now listen, this is a remastered classic about the degreasing of the American male. Of course, you know, and I know that Al Grease has been very prominent in giving black men options outside of the contextual framework of the United States. Many black men have suffered in silence because they've been shamed into relationships. But movies like Frustrated 1, Frustrated 2, and the current Frustrated 3 will more or less give men clarity to the things that they need to do to get the outcomes that they want. This show is a remastered classic when I was in Brazil with Brother Al Grease. And we're going to be talking about how Frustrated 1, 2, and 3 is going to play a critical role into liberating black men and black women. I mean, black men, I'm sorry, not women. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Free at last." And when you look at the thumbnail, you see Dr. King on the mountaintop. One of the greatest things that a man can experience is the power of travel. But if you've been impacted by how people think within America, your mind is impacted. So therefore, your mind has to be more or less degreased, because just like a degreaser is used to get grease off of dirt stains, a lot of American men's mind have been stained. So we're going to look at this classic with Brother Al Grease, and we're going to more or less see why black men are traveling abroad to get options outside the United States. Check this classic out.
4 in the morning, you got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and makeup, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay, we just gotta boom bada boom ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right, baby let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say.
We're bringing it to you live from Barra da Tijuca, the beach, one of the famous beaches in Brazil. We got my man, Brother Al Grease, and we're about to chop it up and talk about the importance of the movie Frustrated 3, the documentary, exploring some of the nuances of why black men in America are frustrated. This is filmmaker and producer Al Grease. Al Grease, I want you to tell us why you think Frustrated 3 is going to be epic.
Before we get to that, man, I just want to appreciate you coming out here with us, man. Accept that invite to come out here, chop it up with the brothers here in Baja Tijuca. Yeah, a little different scenery from the beaches in Copacabana.
Yes, sir.
A little bit more upscale, a little bit more, just as vibrant.
Yes, sir. Very vibrant.
As out there. So the people out here having a good time. We're chilling on the beach. So that's first and foremost. I want to thank you, man, for accepting my invitation to come out here and see what it's all about.
It's been an honor to give an anecdotal perspective.
But yeah, because you had a lot of commentary coming out and individuals speaking about, especially Brazil,
right?
But never been here,
right?
Or only stayed in one little section and
right?
Give commentary on that and not spreading out,
right?
So you came by here and you see how we move around, we move about, and it's a little bit different than what you.
Well, it's very different. The brother that said that the women in Brazil are trash. You know, no disrespect to the brother, but he must only saw a small subsection. From what I've seen, are some of the Brazilians gorda, but that's a small fraction. The majority of the women that I've seen of Copacabana or even Barra da Tijuca are actually gorgeous, fit. The women are very feminine, they're very kind. And I'm telling you guys, travel is very important in becoming an optimized male. Not only travel, but world health. And so there are a lot of toxic and caustic relationships back in the States, which in my opinion encourage Brother Al Greaves to write Frustrated One. What was Frustrated One about? What was so paramount about Frustrated One, Al Greaves? So I want you to tell the audience. And see, guys, this is the issue. You know, you got a lot of what I call psycho simps that will try to shame men into world travel. As I told men in the past, that there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. Male travel is one of them. When men travel outside of the United States, they see how they should be treated instead of seeing how they are treated. And so this show, or this particular show, was to give men courage and hope and to let them know that they have options. Black man options, the Black Man Travel Group, those are 2 major groups that Black men are actually using as options. But it's unfortunate that, guys, we see the shaming language by so-called men. I would never shame a man for traveling outside of this country. Every man should exercise his options to his best ability without the fear of retribution. Now, listen, guys, if you like this show, get the likes up, share the content, and please donate to $ Cash App 7 Smalls. Donate to $ Cash App 7 Smalls as we bring these critical shows to you at a time when Black men are frustrated. As a clinical therapist, I'm doing these shows to empower Black men because a lot of people don't care about the psyche of Black men. And I've said it in the past that a hopeless man is a broken man, and a broken man is a dangerous man. Keep listening to Brother Greaves. What you saw from Frustrated One.
Frustrated One, what it did was give brothers another option to release their frustration.
Right.
So being frustrated and not having an outlet for that frustration can create other kind of problems.
Yes.
So when he gave individuals knew that there was an outlet, and good brother Charles Tyler that passed away, man, creating the group, and eliminating brothers' fears of traveling alone, and that we could do it as a group, as a positive young man, young Black men, especially young Black men coming out. So you see the movement that we got, especially young Black men coming out, and we're all having a good time out here. Upscale, responsible, good men. Good men, no doubt. Good men. So they're taking in all the culture and stuff like that. So that's what Frustrated One did. It gave brothers an outlet.
It gave them an outlet, right.
But it also did, it created conversation. The dialogue started coming. Right. And then from the dialogue, and then from the outlet, and then you were able to talk about it, able to get some stuff off your chest, and find men who understood where you were coming from. Because like you said, back in the States, we taught to suffer in silence.
The suffer in silence, which is very unhealthy from a mental health perspective.
So when you find out when most men found out that they didn't have to suffer in silence, there were men out there that were going through the same type of thing. And because of Facebook, there were groups that were created where you can come in and have that outlet and be yourself without being criticized for whatever, for your feelings and stuff. So that's what Frustrated One did. Right.
You know, it sounds like to me, I always tell people in therapy, Brother Greaves, that in order to recover, you must uncover in order to recover. So uncovering is a mental health process where it helps you go through those layers, what we call onions, in the mental health profession. What did you uncover about yourself that's helped you to become a better man after traversing to South America in the country called Brazil? What did you have to uncover about the negativity in America?
Well, first I realized what shocked me, because I didn't know there was so much of us out here. So when I started to do the research, and I realized Brazil had the highest population of Africans outside of Africa. So when we started traveling, moving around, I saw me.
Yes, sir.
I saw me. So, okay.
And see, that's another thing that a lot of guys don't understand. A lot of guys don't understand that many Brazilian women are descendants of the African slave ship. Brazil has the highest level, or one of the high levels of African blood, maybe even here in the Americas. And see, that's the guilt and the shaming language that some, not all, women try to use towards American men when they decide to exercise their options abroad. And some men actually get more or less shamed by other Black men. And see, we got to stop that. That's why I'm doing these shows, guys. That's why I'm doing these shows, because my job as a therapist is to empower Black men. Male empowerment is something new. And listen, I'm excited for the times that we're living in, where we have platforms from a clinical perspective, from a legal perspective, and from many other perspectives, where Black men are getting the support, the love, and the encouragement they need. No Black man should have to suffer in silence. And that's why I went to Brazil with Brother Al Greaves. I'm going to be in Frustrated 3. And we're going to give men hope outside of the contextual framework of America. And as I said again, guys, if you like what I'm doing, share this content. Share this content right now. I want you to share this content with at least 5 people. And once you share the content, hit the one in the group session, and then tell these people about my channel. And also, if you like what I'm doing, please donate to Cash App $7Smalls. Keep listening, gents.
Right then and then, I realized, okay, America ain't the end all to be all.
Right.
I have a passion for black women.
Right.
For black women, but they don't have to be from the States.
Yes, right.
So I realized, wait a minute, they got black women here.
They got black women here, gorgeous black women.
Black women here. Okay, so let me get immersed in the culture a little bit. Let me find out what's popping, what's really going on.
Right.
And once I did that and understand their struggles,
right,
not so different from mine, but their appreciation and their cooperation.
Right.
But man, I was like, wow.
Right.
Wow. Now I'm on to something.
Right.
I'm on to something.
Right.
So coming back to the States, you see the lack of cooperation, lack of respect.
Right.
Just for men in general, but it's reversed.
It's reversed. Right.
It's reversed.
Right. So when we talk about uncovering to recover, I'm sure you dated or met beautiful women here. What did it do to you mentally, knowing that women could be that soft and feminine? And I want you to tell the young men and the older men that are listening, tell them why it's important, and this is a double question, but tell them why it's so important to set standards and not be disrespectful. So it's a double question. So what did you learn from the women or the women that you dated here? And tell the young brothers and the older brothers why it's so important to have standards and not be disrespectful.
Well, when I first came out here, and I've been coming here since the early 2000s.
Right.
So then I realized that from the high level of respect they have for men, there was a higher competition rate for my attention. Okay, so a lot of this stuff that's going on in the state, I didn't have to acquiesce to women.
Right.
It was reversed.
It's reversed, right.
It's reversed. I'm the prize.
You're the prize, right.
It didn't matter what I had on, Gucci slippers or fucking some Kmart slippers on. Or if I had a Lacoste shirt on or a Snoopy shirt on.
Right.
It didn't matter.
Right.
The attention and stuff I was getting.
Right.
So they all come back and equate, well, they doing that because you have money. Okay, so what's the difference in the States? Every woman wants to be secure.
Right.
They want to be involved with somebody that's secure, and they saw the value in me.
Right.
So once they realized, okay, he's an American dude, he's coming out here frequently, so therefore he must have some means about himself. Let me get to know this brother.
Right.
And when we sat down, and first thing they wanted to do was introduce me to their family.
Right.
Right off the bat, come meet my father, come meet my mother. They love to talk to you and speak to you. I told them all about you, and I was like, wow, because back in the States, we think once somebody wants to introduce you to their family, you're getting too fast.
Right.
You get too fast, but that's just the regular. Meet my cousin, my extended cousins, and all that stuff. So I learned the appreciation they have for family.
Right.
I come from a large family.
Right.
So when I understood the appreciation they have for family, then I started getting more immersed in culture. So I kind of opened up to it. So it made it a whole lot better.
Right. I want to go back to the elements of Frustrated One again. And we know Frustrated One was Brother Greaves' epic film. Charles Tyler, the start of this movement, actually helped contribute to, I'm assuming, you make him Frustrated One, or maybe before.
No. I did Frustrated
before.
I did Frustrated One first.
Right.
Brother Charles saw that.
He saw it, right.
And got inspired by it.
Got you.
Got inspired by
right.
it, and because he was going through something similar. And
yes.
He reached out to me. He created the Black Man Options group.
Right.
Put brothers in, and then he reached out to me and actually brought me in. He gave me he gave me my base. He gave me my base, and he gave me individuals, man, that understood the product and appreciate the product that I was putting out.
Right.
So he kind of brought me in, and I kind of introduced myself to the brotherhood, man, and it's been fantastic ever since.
Well, there are a lot of cynics. There are some guys, I won't call their names because I want to give them free publicity, but I like this particular brother. But they said the men that travel abroad don't have any game. They're lanes. They need to learn game. Tell the guys, I want you to tell the audience, Brother Greaves, why wasting your time on toxic women in America? Whether you have game or not, it's a waste of your time. 3, the documentary. And it's true, unadulterated truth. You're correct. Absolutely. I had women here try to shame me. But my wife's father was darker than me. She has the Afro descent, but it's culturally far different than women here. They value the feminine role. And that's right, I'm unadulterated truth. It's very right because those cultures are more or less very patriarchal. When you have patriarchal cultures, the women don't have a safety valve to more or less not be held accountable. So kudos to you, brother, for getting the woman that you want. And I want to shout out to my man, Ken Hiawatha. Thank you, brother. Thank you for my first ever super chat. Finally got monetized. And thank you. I'm grateful for it, guys. And if you like what I'm doing, other guys, please donate the $, Cash out $7Smalls. So that's true. I agree 100%. Hold time. Let me bring this thing up a little bit. Hold on.
Appreciation they have for family.
Right.
I come from a large family.
Right, right.
So when I understood the appreciation they have for family, then I started getting more immersed in culture, so I kind of opened up to it, so it made it a whole lot better.
Right. I want to go back to the elements of Frustrated One again. And we know Frustrated One was Brother Breeze's epic film. Charles Tyler, the start of this movement, actually helped contribute to, I'm assuming, you making Frustrated One, or maybe before.
No. I did Frustrated
before.
I did Frustrated One first.
Right.
Brother Charles saw that.
He saw it, right.
And got inspired by it.
Got you.
Got inspired by
right.
it, and because he was going through something similar. And
yes.
He reached out to me. He created the Black Man Options group.
Right.
Put brothers in, and then he reached out to me and actually brought me in.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me, what he did was he gave me my base.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me my base, and he gave me individuals, man, that understood the product and appreciate the product that I was putting out.
Right.
So he kind of brought me in, and I kind of introduced myself to the brotherhood, man, and it's been fantastic ever since.
Well, there are a lot of cynics. There are some guys, I'm gonna call their names because I want to give them free publicity. But they, I like this particular brother. But they said the men that travel abroad don't have any game. They're lames. They need to learn game. Tell the guys, I want you to tell the audience, Brother Breeze, why wasting your time on toxic women in America? Whether you have game or not, it's a waste of your time.
Well, it's a waste of your time, as I see it, for a couple of reasons. One, time is more valuable than money.
Right, it is.
So you're sitting there wasting time on something that's in denial on a lot of shit.
Right,
because they feel they don't have to compete for you, they're the prize, and you.
Right. It's totally right.
Totally different. So build up game to.
I'm 6'5". I know I'm a handsome man. I'm married, but
my dad told me I was young. I was ugly, so I had to work hard. So that don't bother me. So
well, they told me I was socially awkward, but who gives a crap?
Yeah.
But my point is, so to the detractors, some of the game coaches that call men that travel lanes don't have any games, you feel like it's projection, a form of classic projection. And if you feel that way, tell me why, or tell the audience why.
Well, I just for here it's not needed.
Right.
When you have a level of respect for the individuals that you're dealing with, game is not needed.
Right.
To kind of.
And listen, guys, on that note, for all the guys that feel that PUAs have helped them get women, I want you to hit the #1 in the chat. If guys have more or less pushed the PUAs, push game, if they have benefited you in finding a woman of quality, I want you to hit 1. But I would say that a lot of these game coaches know that sometimes the techniques they're using are not always effective. And a lot of times you're not going to get a good turn on your investment. You got to look at the options and you got to look at the odds. The odds are a lot better in going to countries where the women are conditioned to be feminine. Now, listen, it does not mean that going abroad, that all women are feminine and going to cooperate. That's a myth. Brazilian women got game and mess with them as well because that's women in general. But you're going to ask yourself the question, can you find a cooperative feminine woman? And are the odds a lot better outside of America? Keep listening.
To put yourself in a position where you're trying to please somebody based on artificial facts.
Right.
The fact that I'm a man.
Right.
I'm a man. That comes first.
Right.
I don't need game.
Right.
I don't need game. I'm a heterosexual man.
Right.
I'm out here. I don't need game. Women will approach you.
Right.
I don't know how long you've been out here, but women have approached me.
Right.
Reach a kiss on the cheek. How are you? Sit down. Can I sit down with you?
Right.
They want to interact with you and shit. So when you come out here with game, you figure you want to attack. What they do is put you on defense.
Right.
And then when you go on defense, you're like, okay, she up to something. What the hell is she up to something?
Right.
No, she's in her natural state.
She's in her natural state. Right.
She's in her natural state. And a lot of guys don't realize that when you come out here to see women who are feminine, friendly, and fit,
and very fit. Yes,
fit. Those are, and then you dealing with women who are unfriendly, unfit, and unfeminine.
Yes.
So here it's reversed.
It's reversed, right?
Reverse. The game is not needed. All you need, what is needed, is a passport and be able to show up.
Right.
That's what's needed.
Right.
And that's what changed the game for a lot of brothers. So you had a lot of brothers that came out that maybe not socially fit, or they come out and about, and then the interaction with the women there, and next thing you know.
It builds the confidence.
It builds the confidence. True game come out because they're like, damn, you're true. That's what you want. Your
true game, right?
Who you are and what you are. So when I came out here and I started meeting friends, I let them know, listen, I'm here in your city. beautiful city. I like to move around. You want to come move with me, and
Right.
we go move around.
Right, right,
So I
right.
started showing them shit in the city they didn't even know it existed.
Right, right.
For financial reasons, whatever. But I started moving around, showing them shit, and they see how you get down, your true self.
Right,
I
right.
ain't got to run again. I could be myself.
You can be yourself. Right, right.
I can be
right.
myself.
Respect, respect.
And when I'm back in the States, I'm myself, man. I'm an independent filmmaker.
No doubt. Right.
I'm not big in Hollywood, all that stuff, but I make enough money where I
Right.
can sustain myself.
Yes, sir.
I travel frequently.
Yes, sir.
I'm always in and out of the country. Anybody that knows me know I'm breezing in and out.
In and out, right.
And
You are.
I take care of myself.
Right.
And you know, and I just watch my money. I don't buy Jordans. I don't need Jordans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for the voluptuous women back, I don't waste time feeding them. You know, them bills is hefty. The bills will run up on you. You could run $200-300 tab, some daiquiris and appetizers, main meal, desserts.
Right,
I could bring that
right,
same bread out here and it'll hit
right.
5 times fold. So it's
Right,
down to
right, right,
basic
right,
economics.
right. And you know, I noticed, you know, the women when they see your ring, you know, they don't bother you. They respect the institution of marriage, and they respect the institution of family. Why is it that women here respect the institution of family versus the women helicopter family? Well, as I said, you know, it appears to me you've had a lot of women come up to you. Many haven't come to me, but it appears they respect the institution of marriage. Why do you think the institution of marriage, family, and tradition is so paramount here, Brother Breeze, compared to back in the States?
Well, the basis of it here is family. And the basis of it in America is financial.
Financial, right.
It's financial. So in America, we view marriage as a business.
Right, right.
As a business, not part of the culture. Like part of the culture is you got to get married, you got to have kids, you need somebody to take care of each other.
And casual gaming, you're correct. You don't see it in other cultures, brother. I agree with you 100%. How many Arab, Chinese, Indian, etc. men do you see fixated on gaming women? Seriously, game in North America, especially among blacks, is about acting anti-socially to stimulate unstable women. And I agree. I think black men in America can have some of the lowest standards in any parts of the world. We accept anything. And so because of that, we already come in already screwed up and the game messed up. That's why a lot of men, when they go abroad, they start simping because they don't believe that they're worthy of quality men. So I agree with you 100%, brother. And guys, if you like the show, please hit the like buttons, hit all notification buttons and subscribe. And also more or less hit $sign Cash App 7 Smalls. Good job, guys. Thank you, Casual Observer. Right, right.
And you go into cooperation. And in the States, it's based on money.
Right.
So just like any other profitable business, when the profits start to dry up, you have to lay off workers. Those workers want to disappear.
Right.
Your business is not profitable anymore.
Right.
And sometimes you see that same thing in marriage. It's
Right.
going to go up and down.
Right.
So it's not based on the integrity of the individual. The value of the man that you have beside you, whether he's the father of my children,
right,
or he's a provider at one time, but he got hurt right now.
Right, right.
He's not able to do it right now, so let's pick up the slack for daddy.
Right.
No, it reverses. Daddy ain't shit now.
Right.
So now we got the bounce.
Yes, right. I like what you're saying.
You got the bounce now, and it's sad because I've seen that witness within in family.
Right.
You know, oh shit, he think he gonna come over here, or he ain't living with me, or she
right.
ain't living with me.
Right.
But here, it's a cooperation, just knowing that we all in it together.
Right.
For all of us to be successful.
Right. And so it sounds like to me, Brother Al Breeze. Brother Al Breeze, filmmaker out of New York. He's coming up. He did create Frustrated 1, Frustrated 2, but he believes that Frustrated 3 is going to be epic. Go check out Frustrated 1 and Frustrated 2 on Vimeo. I believe it's $5.99, right?
$5.99. Yeah, you see the $5.99.
Okay.
Just put down the 2 liter. Whatever beverage you drinking with the chips, and you got $5.99 right there.
$5.99, and it's an excellent film. I was even moved and transformed by it. But back to our point, you know.
Don't skip over this. Or you can go to greasefilms.com.
Okay.
The links are there available right there, and it'll bring you over to the product.
Okay, great. But you made a very salient point, Al. You talked about how men in America are seen as commodities, and so I came up with a term called the commodification to be subjugated as it relates to her solipsism or her selfishness. So it sounds like to me that men in America are basically used as tools. And if they're no longer a tool, then they're discarded. Why are black men or men in America treated as tools alone versus the men here in Brazil?
Well, it reminds me of the line I saw in Django.
Right.
When they told the old boy that what we're going to do is going to send you to the Point Dickey working factory. We're going to work until your back give out. Hit you in the head and throw you in the hole.
Right.
That's it. So he was thinking of men who, especially growing up and watching men work themselves to death.
Right.
And throw their ass in the hole and they move on.
Right.
Or get rid of you. That's the end of your value.
Right.
Over here.
And he's correct. How many men are in relationships right now where they feel like they're just a commodity to be used? I created a term called the commodification of subjugation as it relates to being solipsistic. That basically means that women see men as commodities to be used for their own selfish needs. And a lot of men fall prey to that because they were not raised by masculine dominant fathers. They don't see their worth. They don't love themselves. And I'm telling you guys today, as I'm speaking life into you guys, you have inherent worth. There are women in other countries that will love you, honor you, respect you, and obey you. You got to understand that women in general are all the same, but there are women in other countries that will honor, respect, and obey you. But you got to believe in yourself, get your passport, and travel abroad. Once you start traveling abroad, you're going to see things from a totally different perspective. As I said in the past, there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized. And world travel is one of them. Once you begin to see the world for what it is and understand that you're not seen as a black man, but you're seen as an American, everything you thought was true about women and what you deserve will change 100%. Keep listening.
You have more value in providing and protecting and being part of the family unit. The men here, their position in the family unit is very well respected.
Very well respected, right.
Very well respected. You're the head of the family. So most of the chicks and stuff that I ran across, you know, if we went out and stuff, what they want to do is bring me to their father.
Right.
Let dad know who you are, what you are, and what kind of people you get for your attention. Before going anywhere, you got to meet my father.
Yes, sir.
My mother ain't gonna be and they'll throw barbecues for you. They'll throw big events for you. When you come in and meeting the family and stuff. So, you know, and just meeting them.
Just meeting them,
And back in the States, you know, we meet extended family members from either there at the wedding or at the house, you know, pregnant, giving birth. We meet them later in life.
Or at the funeral.
Yeah, you don't get to, they don't bring them around the family.
Right.
That's totally opposite here. You meet the family first. And they'll bring you in and immerse you in their family unit. Let you know what they're about.
Right. So it sounds like to me that fathers are honored. If you go back to the tenets of theology, you know, we live in a matriarchy where they say honor thy mother and their father, but I did the research, Al, and the Bible doesn't say that. It says honor thy father and thy mother. And so it sounds like to me that men here are actually reverenced compared to the men in America. It sounds like to me there's a healthy patriarchy in Brazil. What's your take on the patriarchy in Brazil? And tell me why you feel a patriarchy, a kosher patriarchy. We're not talking about abuse, because people always associate patriarchy with abuse and cruel punishment, but patriarchy built the world. So what would you say about why is patriarchy needed in America?
Well, what you see is the structure of certain fabrics and institutions that are falling apart as the power structure switches. So when you see out here, just from a financial standpoint, men don't have rights when it comes to the children, which is brought up and frustrated too. So we talk about men ain't around, especially black men ain't around, but you're using the court system to force them out. For monetary gain. For monetary gain. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't need money to rear a child up. You need money for maintenance. For maintenance. So you're influencing your child's life doesn't require money. Doesn't require money, but we put the emphasis on money, reward. So America's a financial capitalist institution, so they do anything that they can generate funds off of. Even if it means a separation of family. Even if it means fighting in courts and you spending exorbitant amounts of money going through that system. So it's not respected there as it is here. Child support doesn't kill a man. It doesn't kill a man. Men pay child support here, but it's not based on 40-50% of your income. It's not based on that. It's based on the actual need, and mark me if I'm wrong, but the last time I did research, it was based on her income. What's required for her to be able to maintain. And you contribute extra to that. So if you're going to break down the builders of it, then what you going to have? If you break down the builders of any society and stuff, you start breaking them down. That's why the black community looks like what it is now.
It's a cesspool. Yeah,
it's a cesspool, and men as decided. So when you talk about the black community, now I don't even know what you're talking about.
I
don't know what you're talking about. Most of it, you see single moms and some of the nonsense that look like a house of ill repute. When you talk about the black community, and that's not us. Because you got a lot of brothers that moved out of the suburbs. That moved out of the suburbs, they're doing very well. So most of us ambition is to get out of it.
To get out of it,
To get out of it, because that's not the place you want to be. Now most brothers have figured out being in relationships in America is not where you want to be.
It's not where you want to be.
You want to get out of it. You want to get out of it, and you want to go visit other countries that can sustain such a relationship in a family unit. I think black men get a bad rap because all they want to tell you that we all dogs, and we thugs, and we do all this and that and the third, which is not true. I know tons of good brothers in the early 30s 20s, 30s, 40s, their 50s, childless, doing very well for themselves in the States,
right?
And decided to, you know, I could have a better life if I get away from that and come out here, especially when it comes to relationships.
Right. And you dated abroad when you were in America, but when you compare the femininity here and back in the States compared to the women here, what did true femininity do to the core of your soul? And I want you to share with the audience.
It dropped my blood pressure.
Shout out to Casual Observer. Thank you, brother, for that $2 super chat. I appreciate it, brother. And yes, this channel will grow to be parabolic, and good brothers like yourself like, share, hit the notification button, and share this content. Each one teach one. It's how good is for the brethren to dwell together in unity. When we work together as black men, we can get anything accomplished. So share the content, and the more you guys support the content, I'll keep putting in the work. All right. So I appreciate it, guys. Keep listening.
Drop my blood pressure. Drop all that shit.
So drop your blood
This
pressure.
is different when you listen. I have a friend here.
Right.
And I told him when I was coming down, you know, she's staying with me at the apartment and stuff.
Right.
And when she asked me for, I'm in New York.
Right.
New York got everything.
Right.
You know that. You want anything. New York don't got it. It just it ain't out yet.
Right.
So she asked me, can I bring some massage oil so she could give me a massage from and the long flight I had.
Oh, wow.
So I understand you got a little flight, you got a little layover in Miami.
Right.
Bring some massage oil so when you get in, I can massage you because you know I'm filming out here too.
Right.
So when I get back to the spot clean, my clothes all stuff folded up. She got food waiting for me over there.
Right.
She said I'm traveling with the brothers. Nobody bringing my phone. Where you at?
Right.
I know you out there with them bitches and all.
Right.
I ain't got to go through none of that. So
Right,
imagine how
right,
productive I can be if I ain't got to go through that. I'm out here making a living for myself. I'm out here earning.
Right.
See the hustle, you know, you see, I'm dealing with grinding. Everywhere I go, I grind.
Right.
So this about, I got nobody calling me. Want to check my phone, see if I'm at work, what am I doing? I'm out here with the brothers in Baja.
Right.
I do some filming. And thank you, brother, for participating in Frustrated 3. Glad to have you.
No doubt.
But has my phone rang?
No, it hasn't.
I can work. I can work in peace and then come home and have, you know, I could be productive and come home and have a feminine woman there that know I had a hard day, that want to massage me, want to reduce my stress level.
Right, and shout out to my wife too, man. She's done a great job supporting me while I've been down here too. So shout out to my little show.
You know how it is when you gotta do stuff on the fly and you don't have nobody aggravating you or stressing you about nonsense.
Right.
Nonsense. It's beautiful women all around the beach.
Right.
My phone ain't ringing. Nobody stressing me about
They're
what
very
the hell
secure.
you doing.
Right, they're very secure.
They're very secure, and you know, but that's based on my character.
Right.
See, I show something in my character. No matter back home, I could be the same way, but I know what you're doing. You ain't filming. You
Right. You know, Al, you traversed from Frustrated 1, which was about 10 years ago, to Frustrated 2. But now you got an epic film called Frustrated 3, where me, Dr. Ron Neal, and Brother Chris, I can't think of his last name, he's going to be in it. What made you write, what gave you the animus, not the animus, but the energy or the vision to create your third film called Frustrated 3? Why was that so important as it relates to male rights? Why? Tell the audience why you came with Frustrated 3.
It's a series. It's like I'm doing a film like in a book format.
Right.
So we had chapter 1, it's chapter 2, it's chapter 3, because the story ain't over and the struggle's still there.
The struggle's still there, right.
And the need for it is still there.
Right.
The need for it is still there.
Right.
So back in the States, you know, when I was looking to do something else, my phone kept ringing for requests for interview. Shout out to O'Shea.
Shout out to O'Shea, no doubt.
O'Shea Duke Jackson.
O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to thank brother O'Shea Duke Jackson. You know, he's a cool brother. He had me on the show, man. You know, he gave me an excellent boost. And so shout out to O'Shea, because it's men like O'Shea that, in my opinion, envisions the spirit of brotherhood. You know, he ain't tripping. He's been what I call a booster for a lot of men. He was a booster for Kevin Samuels. He's had other men on the show, brothers that he helped get the platform started.
For me as well.
So shout out for me as well.
Man.
So shout out to O'Shea. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson, man. Salute to you, King.
I did he asked me to come on. I did the show with him, man, and he showed me the numbers. That, you know, from the views, amount of views and stuff that he got from the show and all that stuff, man. Oh, look at this gorgeous thing, man. I'm sorry, I lose focus, man. Well,
pray for him.
No, don't pray for me. Don't pray for me. I'm right where I need to be. Right where I need to be. Don't need, look at this. Oh my goodness. What was the question? Oh, O'Shea.
And as you guys can tell, Grease got distracted from all them beautiful women on the sunny beaches of Copacabana. casual observer said, as a black man, the best thing you can do is opt out of dysfunction. I agree, brother. Learning game, getting the bag to get broken women, etc., are all strategies that will lead you to pain and misery. Opt out. And you're correct. Unfortunately, a large portion, I don't know the percentage, of our women are broken. And you can learn all the game you want until these women more or less uncover to recover and do the shallow work. They're not more or less fit to be wives. So I agree with you 100%. Me and Al had a good time when we were on the beach. I agree with you 100%. Unadulterated truth said, there is no comparison in the femininity. You see Brazilian women in skirts, sundresses, and baseball caps and baggy baseball shorts. And they take care of all the feminine things in the household. And he's correct, because there's no government parachute. And also, there's a lot of competition. The women have to compete in those countries to get the men that they want. And because they have to compete, they value their men. All women should value their men. They should value, especially the good men, not the dusty ones. But unfortunately, even some of the good men have to fight for power in the relationship. And I would say, guys, you don't have to fight for power. Go where you are celebrated instead of where you're tolerated. So I agree with you that 100% on unadulterated truth. And Al is right. When you get the right woman, guess what, man? Your blood pressure will go down, because femininity is the catalyst to keeping a man's testosterone levels normal and healthy. So I agree with that 100%.
He gave me the I lost my train of thought. You see what happened?
You said O'Shea gave you your boost.
Oh yeah, well, I did the show with him. He was showing me the numbers and stuff, but I see that there was still an audience for it, and there's still some intrigue about it.
Right.
So I did it before actually not having the guys out here, because it frustrated too. Right. What I did was I introduced them to some of the legal framework that they had out that was trying to trap brothers. Right. With equitable estoppel, with the dangers of dating women with single kids, how that can affect them around home. Right. And child support gang, how it's a big hustle. And I was trying to give brothers a hit for it, to afford. And so I still saw there was a need for it, so so we keep it going. Right. We keep it going.
Right. So, this caravan that you brought up here, including myself, I've had professional brothers. I want you to tell the audience about the span of black men.
I want to tell the brothers what the hell I'm looking at. That's what I need to show y'all. We're going
to have to get the non oil shit. We're going to get the non oil and put them in the back.
Okay, but I need to show y'all this. Y'all need some motivation, some inspiration. I need to show you what the hell.
We're going to call him Deacon Sinback. But,
no, man, just, what's the name you gave me for Harry Tubman?
Yeah, Harry Tubman.
Brothers one at a time.
Right, one at a time, right.
But, cocoa brown skin, oh my God. Okay, but go ahead, I'm focused, man.
Pray for him. But,
no, don't pray for him. I'm all right, y'all. I'm good.
But you came out with Frustrated 3, which was a culmination of 2 major films. You have a caravan of black men, what I call a cadre of men. Let's talk about the different men that you have on this caravan. Where are these brothers from? Why did they join you on this quest to see a different aspect of the
majority of them, most of them, either were traumatized by some shit that was going on, or know somebody who was traumatized by what's going on back in the Matrix. Right. Like my man Johnny Johnson would say back in the back. Shout out to Johnny Johnson, big homie. Right. And so when they find out that there was an outlet for them and can join a group of positive brothers. Like we talk about forex trade, we talk about crypto, we talk about stock. I got somebody told me, yo, agrees you didn't buy this. Right. Shit, I was out here, I bought some stock and made me about $1,500.
Oh wow.
In 2 days.
In 2 days, wow.
In 2 days. You know what I mean? And so when brothers see that kind of camaraderie going on, they go back and they're gonna tell their friends, they tell their brothers, they tell their families, like, yo, you need to come out here, you need to see that. Right. So and I had brothers tell me, man, from you doing God's work, and the impact that I had in their lives. So that's really the driving force for me to continue. So listen, I'm not a rich man. Right. I do well for myself, but the fact that I can touch somebody else's heart and play an impact in somebody else's life outside of my family unit, my family and stuff, man. And for that to me, that's all it is.
Well, I consider you to be dualistic. You not only are you Harriet Tubman, but you're also Dr. Martin Luther King, because Dr. King said, if I can help somebody, then my living is not in vain. And you've done a great job to motivate men, to encourage men. And even me, myself, being the coach and clinician, a licensed clinical professional, that's seeking to encourage brothers. You know, I started the coaching clinician because a lot of men weren't talking about, or a lot of clinicians weren't talking about the impact of America on the mental health of black men. So I did this as a you know, with the Manhood Chronicles and the coaching clinician, so the men can see a different perspective on how they need to be treated from a psychological perspective. And so one of the 7 core principles of becoming an optimized male is travel and health. And so what has travel done to your spirit? And then we're going to get back to Frustrated 3. And, you know, you said
I'm sorry, it showed me just something outside of what I thought was the norm.
Right.
And I thought, you know, growing up in America, the way America's good at advertising.
Right.
And the root word of advertising is to avert.
Avert, right.
Avert you, then entice you.
Entice you, right, I like that, right.
Avert, then entice you with some shit. So we brainwash, but this is the end all to be all, and you got to be, this is what you got to do, and you got to buy property, you got to get the house with the picket fence,
right.
This shit.
Right.
And if you look at that model, that shit is eroded.
Right.
I don't want none of that.
Right, right.
So when I got to travel, man, I see how other people live, how they enjoy life. I'm like, wow. This is I like this model a little bit better.
Right.
I like this a little bit model better. Now, as far as the health part of it goes, the food here is not loaded. It's not loaded with steroids and all that stuff, and it's not. What's the term I'm looking for? Most of our food is
organic.
No, their food is organic.
Right. And God, that's what happens when you travel abroad. Just like the diets in America are toxic and full of grease, also the relationships are toxic and full of grease. And you have to be degreased, just like our oil degrees, to get rid of the negative toxicity that you see in this relationship. We're going to have a live call in after the show to the guys that have been more or less impacted by world travel. Hit the StreamYard button. We're going to have a live show if you want to talk about the power of world travel, the pros, the cons, and the things you've experienced as it relates to shame blame. So after the show, we're going to have a live call in. And if you like what I'm doing, hit the $ Cash App 7 Smalls. Keep listening. GMOs.
Yeah, ours is loaded with GMOs and all that stuff. So, and you see people, whether you in Baja or if you're in Rio, Copacabana, constantly exercising.
Right.
So these people have to have some input in their own health.
Right.
You know, so their food is not loaded with garbage.
Right.
So I mean, the first day I was here, I dumped me some fresh coconut water fresh off the tree.
Right.
Man, I had to run back to the bath because it was so fresh.
Right.
For my sister and stuff, man. So,
right.
And so you see a lot of people, you see them walking around, they're healthy, but you got, you know, the majority of them play a role in their health care.
Right.
And staying healthy and staying fit. Right. That's it, you know, they're friendly and they fit. They fit. Okay. And they're feminine too.
They're very feminine, right. So back to Frustrated 3. You talked about the Forex trading, you talked about men from all parts of the country. Without giving away too much, what can the audience look for in Frustrated 3 without giving away too much?
What they can look for is they're gonna pay about $10.99. You're gonna pay about $10.99, and you go in there, and then you have everything you need.
Right. Okay,
you get in there. I don't want to give it away.
Right. I understand.
You know our people fickle.
Right.
No,
I
don't need to see
I understand.
That.
And so,
but it's from a different perspective. Like I said, I have you in there, I have Dr. Dale in there.
Right.
You know, I also film in the States too.
Yes, sir. Right.
Get the perspective from both sides.
Right.
Yeah, get it from both sides. So we're just not having fun with the brothers that's out here and filming that there. So when we get back to the States, we'll wrap up. And we're looking to do some big things with Frustrated.
No doubt. And listen, we want you to support Brother Al Breeze. Helicopter here. But we want you to support Brother Al Breeze in his new film, Frustrated 3. We think Frustrated 3 is going to be epic. And Brother Breeze talked about a combination or an amalgamation of different things, but the whole crux of the situation that American men are frustrated and they are divesting because they can't get the things that they want. Some believe it's gross narcissism. Some believe that there's a high level of respect as it relates.
Focus better.
Well, I'm locked in. But many believe that there's not a high level of respect as it relates to the reverence of black men. And a lot of men are divesting and leaving America for greater shores. And so before we end this video, what do you want to tell the audience about why it's so important to invest in themselves and how investing in Al Breeze is giving him a great return on his investment?
Well, first and foremost, I tell anybody I speak to, you gotta work on self.
Right.
You gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta work on self. Because if you don't work on self and you want to travel, well, you're gonna bring that baggage with wherever you travel.
Right.
You gotta work on self. Whether you gotta go speak to somebody, talk to somebody, you work on self. And then when you work on self, and you get a fresh start of traveling and stuff, so then you can really take in the other cultures and stuff that's around. And investing in me, for those who have, there's a lot of brothers that supported me, invested in me financial, monetary wise. I keep giving it back. Right. I keep giving it back as far as doing the films and stuff, and the Frustrated podcast is going to be up too. Okay, great. Yeah, so we're going to look out for that. You can go on the Facebook page for Frustrated. Right. So we're going to have that up and running too, in addition with the film. Okay. So you can watch the film, but the discussion doesn't stop there. Right. So you have questions, you got panels and stuff. We can come back on there. Hope to have you on the show as well, man. Right. So we're gonna have discussion there, and we're gonna keep it going on the podcast. No doubt, on the strength. So once again, Brother Al Grease is liberating one brother at a time. And shout out to Brother Eric Spencer. He has been what I call the Aaron of this caravan, man. He's been awesome. Eric Spencer has done a lot. Raphael. They've done a great job, Gerald. Yeah. They've done a great job motivating brothers. And there's an old scripture say, in a multitude of counselors, there's strength or safety. But oh, how good it is for the brethren to dwell together in unity. So there are 2 steps before we end this show that a man must use to become an optimized male. And travel and health is 2 of them. And I believe that you're going to see the importance of travel and health. And Brother Al Grease Frustrated 3. So we're about to sign off. And remember this: if it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. I want you guys to enjoy this show and go support Brother Al Grease. I call him the Southern Charm of New York, and he's been a great guy and a great asset, man. So we're about to sign off. And once again, shout out to Brother O'Shea Duke Jackson, what I call the ambassador of the manosphere. He gave me my start. And brother, I'm gonna give you your homage because a lot of guys get big and they don't pay back. But I'm paying back, man, because that's the Leo in me. So shout out to Brother O'Shea Duke Jackson. Showing you love, salute King. Be well, brother. Chazo. No doubt. And shout out to this thing right here. I'm about to see what's going on over here, man. We're gonna pray for him. I'm hands on.
In the morning, you got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling.
All right, we got my man, Wall Street Jay in the house. Wall Street Jay, it's a pleasure to have you on the panel, young buck. What's going on? What's up, brother? What do you think about this discussion about frustrated men traveling abroad? But before we talk about that, I want to thank Mr. Gigi, Zero Money Down, Real Estate Structure. Thank you, brother. You've been very supportive of this platform, and it's going to only get better when men like you support the product. It's going to only get better. And Mr. Gigi said terrific information. Frustrated once set the foundation. It was a powerful documentary. You must see it. Keep up the good work. Great work, Kosher. Thank you, Mr. Gigi. I'm honored for the generous super chats by you and Ken, and to the other brothers that have not donated. Please hit cash out $7 smalls and help me continue to make great content to inspire the brotherhood. But let's talk about you and Frustrated. What was so good about that documentary, and how did it benefit you, Wall Street Jay?
Well, so when I first watched Frustrated 1, quick background about me: I got my associates from Howard. Yes, sir. Good job. In business administration, and then my major's in finance. Right. And I was in Howard, and I began to closely observe what was going on around me and stuff like that, and I wasn't really necessarily okay with that, and I wanted to do something about it. And I looked at the red pill stuff and everything like that, and it made sense, but it doesn't solve what I want, as a man. And I think that it is natural for any man to want a woman, and what it was for me is because, most of my life, I wouldn't say I was depressed, but my father wasn't in my life, and my mom was very manipulative, and when I was younger, I questioned my existence, and I began, when I got into high school, I was really smarter. I took AP classes, got college credits when I was in high school, and I took this philosophy class. And one thing that stuck with said, "I think, therefore I am." Yes, sir. Rene Descartes. That's what he said. Yes, sir. Because he questioned his existence as well. And you know, after watching Frustrated One, I took 2 semesters of Portuguese and I learned the Portuguese language.
Excellent, brother. Excellent.
I had already done 4 years of Spanish prior, and I lived in the state of Florida my whole life, so
Yes, sir.
I had all the practice I needed. And I began to travel. My first country being the Dominican Republic. And, you know, I began to see the level of treatment which I received. And I made a decision in my mind that I wasn't going to go back. And I don't care what anyone says of me.
So let me ask you a question. Did you ever go do Wall Street J any shaming language? And anyone else would like to join the platform and have
yes, sir.
this poignant discussion? Give me a minute on Wall Street J. Anyone else want to join this discussion, please hit onto the link and let's have a discussion. But go ahead, brother. Keep talking. What kind of shaming language did you experience, and how was it powerful with learning Portuguese, and how did it get you the outcomes that you wanted?
Well, the shaming language that I went through, you know, especially, you know, when I told my mom I was traveling to the DR, in which I went to the DR recently in August. And I told her that I was going to the DR. She told me only gay guys go to the DR. You know, and that was something that really shocked me, because that let me know, wow, even my own mother will even question my sexuality to get her way. And, you know, that really hurt me. But at the end of the day, I love my mom, but I just realized she's not the person I can go to advice,
right?
You know, for situations like this. And, you know, I always knew Spanish, even in high school. That's where I began taking classes with Spanish. And given that I lived in the state of Florida, where there's a large Hispanic population, you know, I began to see the differences between women that come from Hispanic countries versus the ones that are raised here. And I began formulating hypotheses on how they were over there based on the ones that I met that came from over there. You know, because once I learned, you know, my Spanish became, you know, sufficient enough, I can have full-on conversations with people from Argentina, Spain, you know, Cuba, Dominican Republic, the whole 9. And I would actually talk with them and talk with aspects about their cultures and stuff like that. And that's when I began to really, you know, solidify, you know, my decision to travel.
Well, brother, you're well-spoken, and also you sound like you're well-traveled. And, you know, you're right. That's very pointed. You used philosophy to more or less articulate your points. But also in the tenets of theology, the gospel says whatever a man think, that's what he is as well. And many men have begun to think that they're less than. Many men don't feel like they deserve the women that they can get. Many men have not been guided by masculine men. That's why they settle for mediocrity. Many men don't understand the power that they have. You're not going to find another man in this space that's doing what I'm doing from a clinical perspective. We can talk about finances. We can talk about the legal parts of child support, family court, and all those things. There's nothing wrong with that. But it all starts in the mind. And I love the brothers that more or less talk about that too, because that's important. But if your mind is broken, then your spirit is going to be broken. If your spirit is broken, your body will be broken. And that's why it's so important for men to know what their worth is, man, because a lot of men do not have strong fathers that give them the intestinal fortitude to demand what they want. And I would say, Wall Street J, you're in a great position. You look like you're very young. You look about 22. How old are you, about 22?
Oh, yeah, 22. I'm 22, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're a puppy, man. I wish I can go back in time. But the good thing that you have that I don't have, Wall Street J, a lot of men in this space didn't have men like me pouring into them. They didn't have men. We just had to figure it out on our own. So you are very fortunate, because you're not going to have to deal with some of the pain that many men in this group or this space and other brothers had to go through. So you're very fortunate, brother.
Exactly. And, you know, and the thing is, you know, I wish that some of my brothers my age knew, because, you know, it just came to my attention yesterday that a close childhood friend of mine committed suicide because of the issues going on with his girlfriend.
Right.
And, you know, the question I had is, because me and my friend, we constantly talk about traveling amongst ourselves. If he knew about it, if we just talked to him and told him, hey, you don't have to do this, would he either killed himself? You know, and that's something that I'm going to have to live with. And, you know, it made me realize that this is not a game. And if the brothers had this information, you know, I think it could do them a great service. Because once a brother knows better, he's going to do better.
No doubt. I totally agree, man. You're 100% correct. And that's why this content is so important. That's why I need you to do your job. Donate to the show because it's time consuming. It's very time consuming because I am a licensed therapist. But also, if you can't donate, share the content to as many young men in your circle as you can. Find 20 young brothers like yourself. Share this content because we got to get that mind right. I did a show in the past called Taxation Without Representation and the Mental Breaking of the American Male. And I'm going to do a couple of shows on that because that show had a lot of gems in it. And it's going to go do Red Pill Rage. It's going to talk about why men are divesting and all of that. So kudos to you and what you're doing because, like I said, a lot of men need this information to go further. What else would you like to add to the conversation, brother? What else would you like to add?
And, one thing, cultural clinician, I like to say is that you have a lot of, men, like you said, that are truly suffering in silence. Mm-hmm. And I know some personally myself that they will take a mentally lesser position to just get their needs satisfied. And I think that as a man, that's very dehumanizing.
Yes.
And I think that, we should have that conversation. And I think that a lot of men are too prideful to have that conversation. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's an ego problem and that, like you said, we need to sit down and really talk about it. And, this is not, like you said, I'm not one of these YouTubers. I don't really do YouTube. I'm just trying to really speak the truth, because what I realize is when you speak the truth, that's the only message you need. You don't need anything else.
Right. Right.
And see, that's why that's why I decided to come on your show because you're speaking the truth. And
I appreciate that, brother.
I used to just listen to your, you listen to your videos in the car and stuff like that, and I see what's going on around me, and it's just I couldn't make sense out of it, and I began to realize this is bigger than me.
Right.
Because I think that the mind-breaking moment for a lot of men is when they realize they're not the only ones going through this. But see, when you feel like you're the only one that's experiencing that, it could be very lonely and very depressing.
Yes, sir. No, you're right, man. And that's why I do these shows. Mr. Gigi is in the house, and everything you're saying, young brother, is very true. Casual Gamer said, respectfully, all of the women in our families are more allied with the status quo, sisterhood, matriarchy, etc. They are with they are with our long-term well-being as men, with all due respect to your mom. And then Willie Lee Jones said, I'm shamed by my family that I travel, especially since our house in northern Brazil. But brother, keep doing your thing, man. Don't let nobody shame you. You are a man. You were created in God's image. God gave you dominion. You don't have to subjugate yourself or inhumanize yourself or indignify yourself based on no fickle feelings that some of these women have. I love women, but at the same time, I don't submit to women. I submit to God. And so you got to submit to God. And the way you submit to God is by maintaining your frame and being a masculine man. So don't get caught up in that BS hype. And also, how can I buy Frustrated 3? It's in production right now. We're going to celebrate it in November. I might be going back to Brazil with the crew. I'm going to be in the movie. So Al Grease is coming up with Frustrated 3 real soon. Once it drops, we're going to do a show talking about it. And we'll give you all the details on how to get it. But go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, it's just, I just really wanted to appreciate you for letting me come on and, speak my piece because,
yes,
I just listen to so many of you brothers. And, when I was younger, especially when, the dominant, Pookie male is around, you think you want to be like him, but then you grow up realizing, hey, I'm not like him. But then you see how some other black men play it out and they try to become them and they go down these narrow and wrong paths. And hearing you brothers talk, I began to realize that, I don't have to be that, because I realized, okay, there's other brothers that are like me that did it this way. But I think it's more so what we see in our environment to thinking that's the only decisions that we can make.
Right.
And that's not what we want to do.
Right. That's right. Mr. Gigi, you always bring a lot of insight. You always add a lot of clarity. I want you to talk about how this show has been impactful for you. And I want you to add to the discussion as it relates to men traveling abroad. Remember, Dr. King was an icon to freedom. Dr. King said, I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land. And that's why on the thumbnail, I had men traveling and Dr. King standing on the mountaintop and men going to Brazil. I just got an epiphany. That's one of the most creative thumbnails that I've done with Dr. King, men traveling and Dr. King being on the mountaintop. But tell me why that's so important for you, Mr. Gigi. What have you learned from this show, and what do you plan to do as it relates to world travel?
Sure. Thank you. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay, got you. Well, thank you so much for bringing me back. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on your upgrade on YouTube. I seen it, and I said, hey, I got to support. But thank you, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Man. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a nice walk to go, right? But it's a journey though to make that upgrade on YouTube, man.
Right. It is a journey. It is. Shout out to my man, Dr. Rod Neal. Doc, if you on, man, please come on. I want you to come on and talk to the young bucks.
Yeah.
Man. Let the channel get to 10,000 subscribers. I love you, Dr. Neal. Dr. Neal and I are going to be in Frustrated 3. Him and I both going to be in Frustrated 3.
Yeah.
So, Doc, if you can, I don't know if you're working, but brother, if you can, thank you for the generous donation. Please come on the platform and share with the brothers the importance of world travel as it relates to the psyche of a man. And also, I want you to talk about how you've been impacted by world travel and how prior to that, how you more or less dealt with the depressive thoughts based on the conditions of American women. So Dr. Neal, please feel free to come onto the show. Dr. Neal is a renowned scholar out of North Carolina. He's a professor, and I'm a therapist in North Carolina. So Dr. Neal, please come on the channel at your earliest convenience, brother, if you feel comfortable, okay? Go ahead, Mr. GG.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I want to shout out to Mr. Ron O'Neill. I am one of his big YouTube fans. I love his content, man. It gets very, very addicting. It does. So when he goes down to Brazil, it's like, oh. And after I seen your interview, sir, with Mr. Grease, man, I said, wow. If that doesn't set the platform for brothers to get the passport and leave ASAP faster, I don't know. These two brothers, Mr. Kosher and Ron Neal, I'm telling you, man, they give out some really great content, you guys. And I'm telling you guys, please, please share the content. These guys know what they're doing out there. They're professionals. They're licensed. They have degrees. They have a great background, you guys. I'm telling you. But thank you. But back on the topic, I want to say that yours and Charles Tyler's video really shook me up a lot. I come from both the red pill community and the real estate community. And like I always tell people, the real estate community and the red pill community is a totally different ball game, But what we try to do is not necessarily just focus on finance, but also to collaborations, creating relationships with individuals, but also to how to train yourself to detoxify yourself from toxic atmospheres and look at all these red flags that are out there, because a lot of us guys have been raised by single moms, unfortunately. And then some of us who actually grew up in two-parent households, the father was mostly treated like a piece of furniture or a utility rather than an actual father to sit down and actually talk to his son, talk to his daughter, bond with his son, bond with his daughter, create the leadership, those particular fathers, that's just what their situations were. Some people say, well, I grew up with a father. Okay, great. But did he create the leadership for you to become a man? I just listened to the Kevin Samuels show, and he said something really powerful about fathers. He said that his own grandfather, exceeded him being a father. He just had to figure out how to become a father at the age of 40. Everybody learns in their different ways, and what it all boils down to is that we're in the generation where they're shaming masculinity, shaming you to be a father, and also shaming you to be the man that you need to be. And it's only in our nature. And the reason why they're doing it is because, and I said this before and I say it again, lots of women are fighting against biology. You can't fight biology, But if it says in biology that, hey, women are naturally supposed to be more and more feminine, more compliant, more submissive, nice, caring, that don't have to walk around with a masculine attitude, right? And you're trying to fight against it and say, well, I don't want to become feminine because that proves to me that is weakness. And you try to fight against biology. When you go across the globe in other countries and these women are doing it naturally, something should click to you that, hey, something's wrong.
Right.
Something is wrong for me to behave this way. And that's what it all boils down to, is the teachings of the people who've been raised up in their environment. Obama said the same thing like years ago, right? You guys can doubt Obama, but listen, this man spit some knowledge, and he said that in order for us, and I'm paraphrasing this, you guys, but in order for us to create a positive community and a great family role model for our children, it starts in the household when the children are young. And what happens is we get a lot of parents that just get these children and just wing it, like literally wing it. Or they figure, oh, it's okay for me to hurry up and have duplicates of me, but I'd rather defer marriage. And now they got, you know, kids' moms with multiple kids' dads and all this crap going on or whatever, kicking the dads out of the household, offer a government check and government benefits. It's ridiculous. But back to the real topic of this, the Charles Tyler show, and I'll tell you guys this, I am now a big time fan of this man. I had no idea this man had been passed away for at least 3-4 years now. Had no idea. I just stumbled upon his channel, and because I said to myself, my dating life was horrible. It was, right? And like I said, we're getting lower grade chicks. You can have all the money, all the game you want, but if these women have not been trained to respect you as a man, all that money, that life you got, that health and all that, it doesn't mean crap. So I said to myself, where can I get better quality women, just better quality? And I went to the Charles Tyler show, and let me tell you, this man not only set the foundation, but he gave you guys what I call ironclad proof. That means a guy can go literally to that country, show a live camera, boots on the ground of what actual evidence means to get your passport and travel. Not talking about it, be about it. And I started listening to this and listening to that, man, and then watching with my eyes. And yes, it was a blessing, you know. And then after that, I heard Dr. Ron. I went to Dr. Ron's channel, and then he had so much Brazilian content. It was crazy. Then I went to so many other channels. I went to Gianna's channel. Shout out to Gianna's. His channel is called In Passport We Trust. He has a lot of Brazilian content, tons of it. And then I started seeing brothers in the Philippines, and then brothers in Thailand, especially Thailand, you know, where these women are actually celebrating, because it's rare to see a black man literally just walk down the street. How would you feel for a woman to catcall you? Hundreds of them catcall you, but just simply walking down the street and it's a normal day and you got to fight them off, you know, or blow them off. It's crazy. And it's like I tell people, outside the matrix, everything is in reverse. Everything from the dollar here is just a normal dollar. You go to another country, that dollar is multiplied by 5, 10, 20, sometimes 50. It depends on the country's currency. If your skin complexion is black and you talk clear English, just regular English, right? Your value goes increasingly high because you're a rare commodity, especially if you're from the United States of America. That's just how it is. And me, myself, I have my passport, you know, I got a passport for me and my daughter just this January, listening to Charles Tyler's content. Shout out to Eric Spencer. Yes, he is the guy. And I got the passport for me and my daughter, you know, and I promote on another channel how to tell single fathers to get their passports as well, because you don't have to be stuck here. Depending on a child's mother who won't cooperate, there's legal ways you can actually do this with a licensed lawyer who actually knows what they're doing in family law, you know. But a lot of guys figure, well, I'm stuck here and that's it. But no, there's ways around it. You just got to fit in the time, the investment, and be able to go after the things you want to do. Don't let these things, you know, hinder you out here. You understand? But yes, Charles Tyler, RIP, yes, he is one of my biggest inspirations. One of my favorite videos I really like was the troll video. I don't know if you guys go to his channel, but it's called a troll video, where he was shooting out all this great content and trolls would just come in and rain on him, and he'll do responses, live responses on this radio show to these trolls, man. You know, well, you know, all this stuff, right? You know, guys are stepping, going overseas, you know, well, these women are going to kidnap you and all types of just stuff. But the point is, though, right, there are more guys on YouTube, on Facebook, on Reddit who are showing happy faces, right, successful relationships, than the percentage of guys who are saying that there ain't no women down there, the women are not crap, you know, and I totally disagree. There's more testimonials out there, even channels I never ran into. I just run into them and then boom. So yes, but that's pretty much, you know, in a nutshell, you know, my response to that. And I really thank, Charles Tyler, the Black Man's Options, and then also to BMC, Black Man Travels, and your channel. And yes, Black Man Travels and Master Teacher. Master Teacher, he needs to come on here. He needs
to. Yeah. I'm
tons of content.
Yes. Tell Master Teacher I want him on, man. I'm gonna do because this is gonna be a series talking about the degreasing of the American male. To be degrees actually means to remodify your thoughts. As a clinical therapist, sometimes you have to restructure your thinking in order to be calibrated as a man. Shout out to Willie Lee Jones for the super chat. Great show, brother. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate the love and support. You guys ain't seen nothing yet. And Dr. Neil, if you can come on, please come on. I know you're a busy man, but if you please come on. But if Doc don't come on, let me show you guys something. I'm gonna have to clip the trim this out because I know they're gonna demonetize this video. But this what World Traveller do. I want you guys to listen. Oh my God. Dr. Neil. Dr. Neil is in the house tonight.
Dr. Neil, Mr. BMI himself.
Mr. BMI.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. You saw every time I see that video, I get crunk. And I'm gonna have to trim it out. They're gonna demonetize the video, so I'm gonna have to trim that part out. But Dr. Neil, tell people about the vibrancy of world travel and how world travel impacted you, brother.
Well, first, let me just give a shout out to all you brothers. Good to see you. Coach the Clinician, glad to be with you once again, and congrats on the growth. And I see that this movement, this channel is exploding, man. I can't wait to see you get to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50 and on, man. So I'm behind you. I'm behind you 100%.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. That means the world to me, man. It's a lot of work. I'm being a therapist and doing content, man. But the support that I'm getting, man, I really appreciate it, guys. But tell the guys, Doc, about world travel and how you were despondent due to distress in America.
Well, listen, guys. I mean, you all have seen parts of that video, and those of you all who have are familiar with my channel, like Gigi, and other brothers. Listen, man. Traveling for me has been the most liberating. My most recent travel experience have been the most liberating things that happened in my life, in my adult life. I just turned 48. I had traveled abroad before. I've been to London, I've been to Paris, Canada, Jamaica, Amsterdam. I've traveled before. But when I went to South America, to Brazil, it was fundamentally transformative in a way that those other trips were not. And I would say what happened to me was that Brazil gave me a different window of looking at my life, a different way of looking at the world. I'm an educator. I've been studying. I've been doing what I've been doing as a scholar for decades. I'm not new to ideas or what have you, experiences. And I think I'm relatively cosmopolitan in my outlook in life. But being in that context, man, where you have a different culture, different orientation, different vibe, the pace is different, the psychology is different. So shout out to Al Grease. And I know you asked Al Grease the question about game, right? Right. and how useless game is, right? It is utterly useless. Because here in the United States, game, it requires you to be some master psychologist, right? And you have to spend countless hours and time trying to get someone to get on your side, get on your program, okay? But when you go to other contexts like Brazil, it's useless, all right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because as Al Grease indicated, in the clips that you were showing, is that there's a different regard for masculinity. There's a different understanding of what men are and what men's place is in the world. And I'm going to say this, over and over again. I think the most profound realization that happened to me in Brazil is that there's no gender war there. Okay.
Yes, sir. Right.
So here's the thing: we as black men are constantly, every day, having to fight for our sanity. You know, we're constantly having to fight for our lives, literally. Okay. You know, because we're black men, man. You know, before I came on here, you know, I was doing some work and I was thinking about an experience. You know, I'm a runner, and I live in an area that's mixed, but there's more white people out here. And, you know, and I run outdoors, and there's a park close to where I am, and invariably, whenever I go out to the park to run, you know, less than 10 minutes into my run, the police show up. There's some police car that pulls up by the park and sits there while I run. And I've noticed this for years since I've lived here. And so that level of type of policing and stress, it wears on you. It wears on you. I watch this place. I'm familiar with my environment and what's going on. No, I'm not making stuff up. You know what I'm saying? And so when I go to Brazil, and when I went to Brazil, that level of surveillance was it was non-existent. You know what I'm saying? Right. You don't have to worry about, and I said this in the videos, and I'll keep saying that, you don't have to worry about this constant policing. You know what I mean? You can be yourself. You don't have to explain who you are. You don't have to explain your masculinity. You don't have to explain, you know, your existence as a black man, you know. And just the culture is just different. People are just programmed a different way. So here's the thing. I think travel for black men is important in terms of black men's mental health, man.
Right.
Your mental health. I mean, yes, Brazil, you go to these places, the women are lovely. They're beautiful. The food is great. The atmosphere is good. But more importantly, you know, your stress levels go down. More importantly, man, you know, you have a different frame of mind. You know, I went back, you know, we were there at the end of May to the early part of June, came back to the United States, you know, and I decided to book another trip for you know, late July, early August, you know what I'm saying? And went there, and again, when I went there that second time, man, it just reaffirmed, you know, my first experience, man. You know, it was just a laid back experience, no stress. I enjoyed my time. I took my time, you know, with the culture and everything, and it allowed me to really think about, again, you know, where I want to go, man. I'm going to be 50 in 2 years, you know, and when you reach this stage in life, and I'm glad this young man is here, man, 22 years of age. He's already on the right path. You know what I mean? He has a head start, okay? He can bypass so much of the baggage and toxicity that we black men have had to deal with in this country. But when you reach a certain point, when you get to that place where you're, you know, half 100, you know what I mean? You know, your life is somewhere else, and you want to think about how you want to live the rest of your life. And I want peace. And you talked about this, Coach. I want peace. I want tranquility. I don't want to be in a war with anybody. You understand? I don't want to have to prove anything to anyone. My relationships with women, they have to be healthy. They have to benefit me. And so, and if it means that I have to continue, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to continue to travel throughout South America and other places, you know what I'm saying? In order to tap into that level of femininity that you talked about on this channel, that energizes men, you know, that gives men that nudge, that motivation to do more, to be more. It's a real thing. It's a real thing, and it's something that we don't have here in the United States. It is very lacking, and you know, we have to continue to push brothers to expand their options, and to forget those who seek to shame, you know, black men who do travel and expand. It's not an issue of game. The environment here is toxic. I just put out a video this week on Monday on Kevin Samuels and his show, Kevin Samuels and Unmarriageable Women. Okay, and you know, and the point I made in that video is that for over 1 year, what his show has done is paint a picture of the unmarriageable state of women in North America. And what he has done has bolstered what we do in the black manosphere. Those of us who are critical of the institution of marriage, those of us who still want to be in relationships, positive, affirming relationships with women, yet we are of how they look at us and how they regard us. And so when you come to that realization that the American situation doesn't really benefit Black men, you are warranted in expanding your options. And I'm going to say this, I'm going on, and I said this in one of my live streams, that the benefits of travel. I know travel can be expensive for some people, but the benefits outweigh the costs. The benefits, the psychological benefits, just the benefit of being away, the benefit of dealing with other people, interactions, women, just an entire culture. If you spend $3,000 to $2,500 on a trip, let's say again to Brazil, okay, that is nothing in comparison. The cost is nothing in comparison to the overall benefits that you will have, okay? And one of the benefits that you have is that when you come back here, you're not going to look at this terrain the same way. When you come back here, you're not going to look at the landscape the same way. You're not going to engage the same way. Things are different. You have a completely different lens. And again, I said this, I've traveled internationally before, and I was impacted in certain ways by those trips. But it was with these trips to Brazil in particular, okay, that really did something that was unprecedented. So, man, I'm for it, man, and I want all you brothers who are out there listening to, if you don't have your passport, get your passport, do what you have to do to get out of the United States.
Dr. Ronald Neal, I have one question.
Yes.
And for you too, Dr. Clinician. So, in terms of my situation, as you know, I'm a younger brother, I'm 22 years old, and I understand the pains that you all older Black men had to go through due to the fact that you did not have the access to technology and social media to get the information that we have now today. And you all felt trapped. And I can't imagine what you all went through. And my question is, seeing that what you all went through, I have made a conscious decision to not engage and to only achieve my economic gain and increase my economic power in the United States, and I will take my, dating attention elsewhere. And am I right for doing this? Am I wrong for seeing what I see and making the decision that I've made?
Well, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're making. I think you've made a good decision to focus, particularly in terms of your economic situation. You focus on your economic situation, build yourself up, create a nest egg, think about the long term. Again, like I said, those of us right here, we're in our 40s and our 50s and what have you. You want to have a long game, and you're doing the right thing by thinking about the long game, and by not engaging in this terrain, you're also saving yourself. You're preserving yourself. You're saving yourself from the headaches. You're familiar with these spaces. There are men who are our age, men who've been married, men who've been divorced, men who have children, men who've gone through the child support system and all of that. Men with all sorts of experiences that have made them who they are, but experiences that have burned them, that have traumatized them, and the like. If you can avoid a lot of that stuff, you should. I think my perspective is that the younger generation should, do better than the generation that came before them.
Yes, sir. I totally agree.
You shouldn't replicate it. Particularly, you shouldn't replicate the negative stuff that we've gone through. You understand what I'm saying? It's like a father. I think a good father, a good parent wants their child to do much better, than they did. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And so, so I think that you are on the right path. And here's the thing: the most important thing is that you value yourself.
Right.
You value yourself. It was disheartening to hear your mother shame you about going to the Dominican Republic. And what that means is that you have to valuing yourself often means that you're going to have to create some distance between the people who are close to you. You know what I'm saying? You may even have to cut some of them folks off. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and I will say this personally, you know, I had issues with my mother and I had to create distance with her. Okay. I grew up in a single parent household. You know, I had to become a man on my own. And I had to move beyond the limitations of how I grew up. And I had to discover stuff on my own through experience and through meeting other men, other grown adult men who had something to teach me and the like. And so I think you're on the right path. Don't let anyone shame you, man. Continue to go forward and continue to do what you're doing.
No doubt. No. And listen, before I comment, I would like to say thank you for Rashid Malcolm Timmons. He's speaking the truth. You feel much better around feminine women. PI, I don't know what that means. PI, Japan, Korea, and Germany were great places to be. And you're correct. And so to you on Wall Street, Jay, you have a right to exercise your options as a man. You know, God gave you sovereignty. And if you want to date women outside the contextual framework of America, that's your right. Don't ever let a person shame you. You're not hurting anybody. You're not doing anything wrong. I promise you, women from other countries are more feminine. It doesn't mean they're not women. They're still women. Ron will tell you he traveled abroad. A woman's going to be a woman. They all want provision, protection, maintenance, and security. But they have been conditioned to treat you a lot better. They've been conditioned. And so, Ron, you make some very powerful points because, you know, I'll say the same thing similarly, is that you can't take new wine and put it into old wine skins. And I, you know, Kevin might have a very noble position, and respectfully to him. But I will agree with you that a lot of the women in America, not all, but a large percentage, unfortunately, are not wife ready, or they don't have the accoutrements or the skills, many to more or less come into a relationship willing to submit to the authority and the order of a husband as he submits to loving her, dying for her, and protecting her. Why is that so paramount in this discussion, Dr. Neal, as it relates to dating American women? Why is that so paramount?
Yeah, I think it's important because you need. Here's the thing: men need peace in their lives. Men need stability in their lives. Women serve at their best a stabilizing role in the life of a man. Being supportive, being nurturing, doing those things that are part of her femininity, you know, when it's natural and what have you. But we're in a situation where, you know, women have rejected that. They reject femininity. You know, part of the whole feminist movement is, you know, this disparaging of traditional femininity, you know, right. and to demonize it and to move women away from it and to move women more towards masculinity, okay, and to make more men out of women, and that's the problem that we have, is that we have women who have literally become men, okay, and Kevin shows it. He's these women who have been turned into men in many ways, and then you're trying to sell these women back to men, okay. And it's a bad deal. I mean, that's like you might as well be a homosexual. You might as well be gay. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the situation that we're in right now. And so if you're a man who was built in a certain kind of way, you're not going to accept that offer at all. It is it's a bad deal altogether. And men are going to have to open up their options. Look at other groups and what have you, and that's why I don't care. You can do it interculturally. You can deal with, you know, other Black women from other parts of the world. You can deal with Latina women. You can deal with Asian women. You can deal with white women. It doesn't matter, man. If you can find someone who is going to be that support, someone who is going to work with you and not against you, someone who is not going to see you in terms of toxicity, okay, but see you in terms of life and what you offer. If you can do that, and you can find that in someone here or abroad, you do that.
Right. Right. No, I totally agree. I think a man should have the ability to exercise his options at his own peril or at his own blessings. But Mr. Gigi, I know you was about to say something. I want to ask Ron a couple of questions before we sign off. But go ahead, Mr. Gigi. Go ahead, brother.
Now I was about to say that here in North America, women will sell you on the fact, like We see how we're openly discussing and bringing up the problems that we have dealt with these women. Well, and young man, I want to tell you this. I'm only 39 years old. I just turned 39 September 6th. Okay, I'm Team Virgo. Listen to me and listen to me carefully. They're going to sell you on the fact. They will tell you this. They're going to sell you on the fact that all women are not like that. I can count probably, right, if I had a nickel for how many times I heard women say, all women are not like that, right? I think my electric bill will be paid probably for the whole year. I'm telling you this, okay? We don't always point out as all women. No, we don't. Here in the Red Pill community, in the travel, foreign travel manosphere, and the manosphere, we talk in generalities. In generalities, meaning in small groups, large groups, a portion, some. And a lot of the women, they don't understand what generality is, sir. They just don't, okay? So you're making a great decision. Save yourself. I am telling you this, right? Save yourself. Invest your time and your money into yourself. And once you free yourself out, then get your passport, get your money together, and travel. Do you know how many older gentlemen, right? Older guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s to this day had told me in my late teens, get your passport. You'll never, ever regret it. And at that time, I was thinking, you know, these guys are from the military. They were telling me this, and I'm thinking I'm going to go to war. I'm thinking that I'm going to go ahead and get killed and all that. And that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. No, these guys were exploring the world, having a blast. It just really depended on what type of job you took within the military. They call it a MOD or something like that. I don't know, but it just really depends. But I'm telling you this, even if you're out of the military, man, right now, like you are, get your passport, get your money together and travel. I tell these guys to invest your money and your time into your financial education, number one, and number two, income producing assets that's going to come in over and over and over again, and that's going to last you a lifetime. And while you're working on that, if you start traveling, brother, there's going to eventually be a woman who you can actually go outside of North America and meet that will gladly appreciate you and not use you as a utility or a benefit package. Because that's what they're looking for out here is a come up and a benefit package, especially if you're young, because you got a lot more youth. A lot of the older gentlemen, we got experience. We got hipped on to what they're doing. And now they're a little angry is because we're actually putting you on knowledge and putting you on caution of what the tactics that they have used on us for so many years. So young man, I'm telling you, you are making a fabulous decision. Very fabulous. They're going to shame you. Yes, they will. Be aware that they're going to shame you. But I'm telling you this, you're making a great decision. Get your passport, and you don't necessarily have to just go to Brazil. Remember, the world is our option. All over the globe. The women here will only be limited to here because that's what they're used to. They got 95% of the options, true enough, and hundreds of men hitting them up in their message boxes here. They do. Married women, single, I don't care. They do, okay? Here in North America. I'm talking specifically Canada and the United States. But once you step outside of North America, now we got 95% of the options as a man, because as a man, especially a black man that speaks clear English, we're wanted globally, not just here, globally. Don't believe me? Go over to Master Teacher's channel and go to some of the Black Man's channel, the Black Man Travels channel, right? Go to Red Pill Brother Carl channel. These guys are telling testimonials. It is absolutely real. And Ron, keep up the good work, sir.
Mr. G, I actually speak Spanish and Portuguese fluently, and I can attest to everything that you're saying. And, you know, given that I have an advantage over most brothers because I speak the languages, you know, I've been able to determine that they are very feminine in how they act and their behavior and attitude towards men. And also, another background about myself is I'm actually a finance major at Florida Atlantic University, and I will be graduating this December. And I have my own investment company, and I offer investment advising at a Roy Empire Investments.
Sure.
And I'm managing.
Congratulations.
I'm managing $30,000 of my own capital, and I plan to in my lifetime go into private equity and own corporations.
Man, proud of you, young man. I'm proud of you, man.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Guys, I want to bring Roland on because I have to go in a few minutes. I got patience to see. But okay. Dr. Neil, when you finish saying what you're saying, I'm finished saying what you had to say, Doc. If not, I'm gonna bring Roland on. And this has been a great show. It was a remastered show. It was a show that I felt had a lot of potential that was buried in the archives, and I had to bring it back to life because I had so many gems to it. But Roland, why don't you come on the panel, tell the people who you are, and tell us why this topic of world travel is so important to the evolution of the Black man.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, I can barely hear you, brother. Turn your mic up.
Your sound's low, sir.
Sure. Unmute myself. Yes. Hi. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm hearing all kinds of stuff here. Can you guys hear me better now? Can you hear me better?
Yeah, much better now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, what I wanted to say is I just happened to be around when Charles Tyler was around, and I happened to be on his website listening to his podcast, and he says, the ladies are waiting here. They're here for you, brothers. And so I said, is that right? He's like, he was talking to me. So I happened to see his desktop where he had a Brazilian website up, and I happened to turn him off and turn that on and established a relationship with a young lady. A couple months later, after we talked for a couple months, I made a trip to Brazil, to Sao Paulo, and we are married today, and she is here with me in the States.
Oh, bless you, brother. Bless you.
Wow.
Everything that you all have said today about peace, I'm in my 50s, and I have peace in my home. And you know what, folks, the younger folks, once you get older, it is harder and harder and harder to be single. Now, I made the choice. I'd rather be single than to continue dating what I was dating. You know, I was told, well, when we get married, you'll be doing this, and this. I said, oh, yeah, what are you going to do? I'm going to stay home. So I got to do my 8 and then come home, cook your dinner and everything else. I said, oh, no, thank you. But I have we've been married for 2 years now, Brazilian chocolate sister. And she's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. That's all I really wanted to say, guys.
Well, listen, Roland, I would love for you to come back on at some point and tell your story. You remind me of the American Brazilian. He has a beautiful Brazilian wife, and I would love you. Right, I would love for you to come back on at some point. We're going to do a segue to this show, and I would love for you to come on. Dr. Neil, in a few minutes, I want you to tell the audience, give the audience 5 adjectives that you more or less experienced, and the best way in your lexicon that you experienced when you dealt with the vibrancy of Brazilian women. I want you to give the guys 5 adjectives real quick.
Oh, Lord have mercy, Lord. You're talking to a professor, you know.
I know, but break it down.
Spotlight.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to come back to that question.
Okay, cool.
But I would just say the word I used earlier was liberating.
Yes, sir.
And so that's it. That's the one. It was a liberating experience for me, and I truly believe that for Black men who have not gone outside of the United States, that they could experience that liberation as well. Okay, when you understand fundamentally that the United States is not the limit, it's not the end. And again, I'm advocating traveling all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And there are so many places, and there's so many cultures and people and women and so on and so forth. But just the liberating thing is that we have been deceived. If you really believe that America is it and that what we experience is the end all be all, you have a impoverished existence. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to say it like that, bro. But once you leave that and you see that there's something else, that there's another world, it changes you.
Right.
And it changes you for the better.
Right. I totally agree with that, man. I totally agree. And I'm so happy for Roland that God has blessed him with an awesome wife. And Roland, if you would like to, man, when we do another show as a segue, I'm going to do a show called The Brazilian Wife Myth or Brazilian Women Myth. And it's going to more or less highlight some of the myths associated with dating women from abroad. But I would love for you to bring her on. I might try to get the American Brazilian back on. And guys, listen, thank you for the support. I love you guys. My job is to grow this brand and grow this channel. And with the support, like my dear friend, Dr. Ronald Neal, Mr. Gigi, Wall Street J, and Roland, we're going to get this channel to where we need to get it at. Speaking truth to power sometimes can be very uncomfortable. But it takes men like Dr. Neal and myself and Mr. Gigi and Wall Street J to let men know that they got better options and they don't have to struggle. Most people won't believe it unless they see it. But like Dr. King said, I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land. And once you get the passport game clicking, once you get a chance to travel abroad and see the world for what it really is, man, you will never see the world the same again. You will never see the world the same. And it's almost like it's a fairy tale. Dr. Neal, real quick before I let you go, I want you to tell the audience about the cathartic experience that you had in about 2 minutes. Tell them about the catharsis that you experienced. I'm leaving from when you left Brazil, because most people don't believe it's real. But tell them about the Brazilian catharsis real quick.
So I'll just say this. I'm going to hop off of here. I was in Sao Paulo airport. I was in the airport in Sao Paulo, Brazil, getting ready to get on the flight back to the States, to Atlanta, and then to North Carolina. And I was sitting at a bar, and there was some wonderful Brazilian women who were serving me at this bar. Very, just hospitable as well as extraordinarily attractive, man. And I'm sitting there and I'm drinking my beer and I'm in the airport. And during my whole airport experience, I'm just looking to my left and to my right, and I'm seeing all of these Brazilian women, right? Very attractive, man. And I had, like I said, man, it was the end of a 10-day trip. And I'm thinking about where I have to go. I have to go back to the United States. And as I thought about the United States, tears started falling from my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hit me right there. Mm-hmm. That something fundamentally had changed. Something had happened inside of me. There was an awakening. But at that particular moment, as I was heading back from my second trip, there was a release. I can't really put into words everything that was happening. Okay, it was cathartic in ways that I would have to really sit down and explain in greater detail, but I can't do it here, man. But I would just say that it was at that moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we will finish this discussion. And Dr. Neal, thank you for coming on, man. I love you, brother.
Yes,
thank you for the generous super chat. Thank you, Mr. Gigi, for your love and support. And Jay, Wall Street J, man, you're a phenomenal young brother. We will have these topics again in the future. And it's about 5 minutes after the hour, 3 o'clock. We're about to sign off. Listen, guys, there are 7 steps to become an optimized male. And world travel is one of them. And I want you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. Enjoy, guys.
Have a good one.